You said something today at work, at the store, at your kids' school. It was fine, everyone moved on. But you didn't. You've been replaying it on the way home, in the shower, before sleep. Not what you said, how you said it. Did I use the right word? Did I sound strange? If you know this feeling, this is for you. This is a kind of a specific overthinking. It doesn't happen because you're anxious in general. It happens because your thoughts live in one language and your life runs in another. Today I want to talk about why this happens, what the research says about it, and 4 things that actually help me stop the replay. And I want to be more honest than usual because this one I lived. I learned English as a second language, and for a long time I carried something I couldn't name. In my first language, I'm funny, I'm quick, I know exactly what to say. In English, I would start a sentence and forget where it was going. I'd laugh at a joke 2 seconds too late because I was still translating. I remember sitting in a meeting once. I had a good idea, a really good one. But by the time I found the right English words, the conversation had moved on. And I sat there quiet, feeling invisible. That night I didn't think about the idea I had. I thought about the words I didn't say. I rehearsed what I should have said, practiced a better version, as if I could go back and fix it. If you've been carrying this, I want you to know something. That's not because your English isn't good enough, it's because your brain is doing something extraordinary. Let me explain what I found, because once I understood it, everything shifted. When you speak your second language, your brain is not just talking. It's listening, translating, choosing words, monitoring your accent, reading the room, all at the same time. That's a lot, and it triggers something psychologists call foreign language anxiety. Your brain's threat detector, the amygdala, activates. It flags the conversation as risky, and when it does, it actually disrupts the part of your brain that helps you find words. So the anxiety doesn't just make you feel bad. It makes it harder to speak, which makes you more anxious, which makes it even harder. A loop. But here's the finding that changed everything for me. Your actual English level doesn't predict how anxious you feel. What predicts anxiety is how good you think you are. The overthinking is not caused by how you speak. It's caused by how you judge how you speak. The problem was never my English. The problem was the story I told myself about my English. When I learned all of this, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Relief. But relief is not enough. I needed something to do. So I built 4 small shifts, not quick fixes, practices. The third one was honestly one of my main issues, and that's a kind of mix of 2 things, and I'm still trying to work through. I really think they're super important. For years, I tried to think in English. I thought that was the goal, that it meant I was finally fluent. But research shows your first language carries your deepest emotion. It's where your feelings live most fully. So here's what I tried doing. When I feel overwhelmed, I let myself think in my first language. I process the emotions there, then I speak in English. I stopped forcing my inner world to be in English, and something shifted. I started feeling like I was performing. I started feeling like I was translating, and translation is a skill, not a failure. Try this. When you catch yourself overthinking a conversation, pause. Ask yourself, what am I actually feeling? Answer in your first language. Let yourself feel it fully there. Then bring it into English. The replay, you know it. You said something, and now you're playing it back, changing the words, imagining a better version. Here's what I learned. The replay is not helping you improve. It's your brain trying to protect you from a threat that already passed. When the reply starts, I say 1 sentence. Not, I communicated perfectly, not like a native speaker, just, I communicated, the message arrived, that's enough. Try this. Tonight, if the replay starts, notice it. Don't fight it. Say your phrase. Redirect. It won't work perfectly the first time. That's okay. I want to be honest with you. I still replay conversations sometimes. I'm not cute, but now I catch it faster, and catching it faster changes everything. Perfectionism and second language anxiety are connected. Research shows that concern over mistakes is one of the strongest predictors of language anxiety. Here's what I had to accept. My English will not sound like a native speaker's. And that's not a problem. I was holding myself to a standard that no one was asking me to meet. There's a concept in psychology called good enough. Not perfect, just enough. Good enough English means the person understood me, the connection happened, the meaning landed. When I stopped chasing perfect, I actually spoke better because the anxiety went down, and when anxiety goes down, words come easier. If you're trying to overcome perfectionism, I made a video about how I worked through it, and honestly, I'm still working on it sometimes. I'll link it up here. Try this. Before your next conversation, set an intention. Not I will speak perfectly, instead I will communicate what matters. For a long time, I described myself by what I lacked. English is not my first language. Sorry, I'm not a native speaker. I was defining myself by a gap. You're not a non-native speaker. You're a bilingual person. You speak more than one language. That's not a limitation, that's a strength. One small shift, adding the word yet. I don't feel confident in meetings become I don't feel confident in meetings yet. It's a small, but it opens a door. Try this week. Notice how you describe yourself. Are you using a lack language? I speak two languages is just as true as English is not my first language, but it feels very different. Before I close, I want to ask you something. Which of these 4 tools resonated most? Drop the number in the comments. I read every single one. And if you know someone who replays conversations in their second language, send this one to them. It might be exactly what they needed to hear today. I want to close with something that took me a long time to understand. The exhaustion you feel at the end of every day, it's not because you're failing. It's because you're doing something incredibly hard. Every conversation in your second language is an act of courage. Every email, every phone call, every time you raise your hand. You're not overthinking because something is wrong with you. You're overthinking because your brain is working to protect you in a world that sometimes makes you feel like you don't belong. But you do belong. Your voice with its accent, with its pause, with its beautiful imperfections, that voice has something to say. Maybe the goal was never to sound like everyone else. Maybe it was to sound like yourself in every language you carry. That's something I'm still working on, and I think that's okay. Next week is our final episode of Overthinking Cure. A calm mind is not an empty mind. We'll talk about what it actually means to find peace in your thoughts. Not silence, just peace. I'll see you there.